Greetings and salutations, everybody. Welcome to the best damn movie-related show on the internet, the John Campea Show, coming to you from right here on my YouTube channel. I'm, of course, your host, John Campea. It's an honor and a privilege, as it is every day, to have you guys joining me here as we talk about our favorite things in the world, movies and movie news and all that sorts of good stuff. We got a whole ton crap of stuff to get to today, so let's dive right into it. You guys know that one of the films that I'm very excited about seeing ever since the trailer came out was the new film with Mahershala Ali and Viggo Mortensen called Green Book. Well, Green Book, and we've talked about it on the show here, we're all pretty excited about it. They played at the Toronto International Film Festival, and it just won the People's Choice Award at the 2018 Toronto International Film Festival. Now, that's a big deal because this isn't some cheap, like fan-voted sort of thing. This thing has a long history. As a matter of fact, I'm looking over at Variety right now. The winner of the People's Choice Award at the Toronto Film Festival 5 times has gone on to win Best Picture at the Academy Awards, including Slumdog Millionaire, 12 Years a Slave, The King's Speech, which I still don't know why a lot of you guys have not watched Colin Firth in The King's Speech with Jeffrey Rush. That movie's freaking awesome. Make sure you watch that. American Beauty and Chariots of Fire. And last year, or in 2016, I should say, the People's Choice Award winner went to La La Land, which was the presumptive favorite to win the Oscar. And of course, it almost won the Oscar, but eventually lost out to Moonlight. But it was came in second place, if you will, for that. This is nothing but good news. And look, I'm going to encourage you guys, if you have not seen the trailer for Green Book, go watch it. I guarantee you, wherever your excitement level is for that film, whether you're completely disinterested or, you heard who's in it, so you're looking forward to it, wherever you are on that scale, your scale is going to go up about 3 notches. Your anticipation level is going to go up about 3 notches on this film once you have a chance to check out the trailer, because it's fantastic. It's everything it hopes to be. And it's really good hearing that it's gotten such a good result out of the Toronto International Film Festival. So let's amp up the excitement level even more right now. Okay, a couple other things broke this morning, including this. The new full version of the Marry Poppins trailer has dropped online. And speaking of everything we hoped it would be, this trailer is pure, absolute magic. Just absolute magic. Look, if you told me a couple years ago, okay, they're making another Marry Poppins movie, and I started to put together in my head, what would a trailer for this new Marry Poppins movie, how should that look like? What should that capture? What are the things it needs to embody and hold and communicate to really get us on board? And this trailer does all of it. All of it. I liked the first teaser, but you remember, I wasn't jumping up and down about it, but I liked it. This one takes it to a whole new level. Emily Blunt is perfect. She's absolutely... Now, there are other actresses who maybe could have played it as well, sure. But I'm just saying, Emily Blunt in this trailer comes across as nigh perfect. And I gotta tell you, there are 2 things in particular. Lin-Manuel Miranda was good. Ben Whishaw looks great in it. The kids look great in it. It all looks good. But there were 2 things in particular that got me very excited as a film fan looking forward to this thing. The one, and I'm sure this got all of you guys, is seeing this man, Dick Van Dyke, in the trailer. Now, I'm sure there's a little bit of visual effects tomfoolery going on with him up on the table, dancing on the table. I mean, I'm just guessing that's not really him doing the dancing, but whatever. Having him in there is just amazing, and I absolutely love that. But the thing that got me even more excited, and let me see if I can grab this here. Where did it go? There it is. The thing that got me even more excited than the Dick Van Dyke and all that kind of stuff was shots like this one. One of the big things about that original Marry Poppins film was that they go in and out of live action with traditional old-style 2D animation. And I was wondering, as a matter of fact, I wasn't even wondering. I thought for sure they wouldn't do it in this film. I thought for sure they would do, if they do go into a semi-animated world, it would be modern CGI, would be modern CG types of animation. And I was fine with that. As long as it looked good, I'd be fine with it. I never thought they would actually utilize the traditional 2D animation just like the original Marry Poppins did. And this shot with others made me so happy. I'm just telling you, like, it made my heart happy. My heart smiled when I saw this, and I just loved it. Hearing Emily singing some songs and some notes in the trailer as well, her floating on the thing, and her, like the bag and the umbrella flying to her, and the kids going, "How did you do that?" And she's like, "Do what?" I mean, it was just great. It captured the spirit of that original Mary Poppins. And I didn't need it to really capture I was totally fine with this new Mary Poppins being its own thing, being something different and something new. I never expected they would so capture that spirit of the original Mary Poppins the way they did in this one. Now look, it's just a trailer. We have seen many trailers, many great trailers, to absolutely awful movies. We've all seen it too many times. That could happen here. It might. But if all we've got to go on is this trailer right now, chalk me up, man. I love this trailer. I think it's fantastic. And it has, once again, moved the needle. It's made me even more excited for this film than I was before. All right, let's move on here. Mary Poppins was not the only new trailer to drop today. We also got our second look at the Girl in the Spider's Web trailer with Claire Foy. That dropped this morning as well. Now, unlike the first Mary Poppins trailer, I actually loved the first Girl in the Spider's Web trailer. I thought the first one was great. Just her, stringing up the guy upside down saying, "I'm transferring all your money to your wife and to these girls you got off from battering," and all this kind of stuff. It was a great trailer. This new one comes out, gives us a broader picture of the movie. I love Claire Foy. I really liked the last girl in the Girl with the Dragon Tattoo with Rooney Mara and Daniel Craig. I loved that movie. I was very sad when I realized that they weren't going to do another one. So now we've got this new incarnation. We got Claire Foy, who was awesome in The Queen. Everybody says she's awesome in First Man that's coming out, that she plays opposite of Ryan Gosling. So I've been looking forward to this. This is a pretty good trailer. This Girl in the Spider's Web trailer is a pretty good trailer. My one concern is I feel like they just laid out the whole movie. Now, I'm the guy who, whenever people complain about that trailer gave away too much, I'm the guy always saying, calm down. Like, we don't know if it gave anything away. We haven't seen the movie. For all we know, this trailer just gave nothing away for all we know. Let's wait till we see the movie before we start complaining that it gave away too much. So I'm the guy who's always saying to everybody, pump the brakes. Let's not freak out about a trailer showing too much, blah, blah, blah. But even I gotta say, I felt like they went through it felt like they were going through all the story progression of the entire movie. Set up the beginning. I've been hired to do a job. Set up the double cross. I've been set up. Set up the hunt. I got to find out who did the setup. Set up the reveal. Now I know who did the setup. Set up the conflict. Now I got to go after the girl who did the setup, and set up some of the finale, showing the sniper shots and all that. It felt like they took me through the entire progression of the movie. The first trailer that they had, where she's stringing the guy up and all that kind of stuff. See, that was a great trailer because it never gave away too much, but it did give us a general sense of the movie. She's been, like, her life mission's been going around to hurt men who have hurt women. And then some girl from her past who says, how come you save them all except me? Okay, now we've got it. That first trailer gave us a brief look at what the movie was about. And it delivered, and it was effective, and it didn't give away too much. This trailer, I mean, it's a good trailer. I like the stuff I saw in it. This trailer looks like a trailer to a pretty good movie. But I feel like they just gave all the progressive story beats and laid it right out for the audience just in their 2-minute trailer. I felt like it went too far. I felt like it went too far. Whether it did or not, for all I know, everything they just showed us in the trailer all happens in the first 20 minutes of the movie. If that's the case, then we all owe this movie an apology, including me. For all we know, everything, including the sniper shots, that all happens in the first 20, 30 minutes of the movie. And it's not really giving anything material away. That's a possibility. But if it does turn out that this trailer just basically gave us the whole movie, I'm going to be disappointed. So we'll just have to wait and see how that all turns out. Okay, guys, with that out of the way, let's jump now into the main topics of the day. And how do we select our main topics here on the John Campea Show? Well, it's actually pretty simple. You guys select them by emailing me your questions and topics and emailing me at john@thejohncampeashow.com. That's john@thejohncampeashow.com. Make sure you put the word topic in the subject line. And as always, guys, keep your emails to 90 words or less, and maybe you will see one of your emails pop up here on the John Campea Show. All right, let's dive into it. And the first email today comes to us from Sean Ward, who writes, "The Predator came in at number 1 at the box office this weekend, but it only managed to pull in $24 million while doing it. With a production budget of $88 million, is the studio happy with the results, even though it came in at number 1? All right, thanks a lot for the question, Sean. And the answer to that question is absolutely not. Absolutely not are they happy with a $24 million opening on an $88 million budget. Let's put this in perspective. The 2010 Predator film, Predators, with Adrien Brody, made just over $24 million on less than half of the budget. And that was in 2010. Also, Predator just set a new all-time record. And it's not a record they wanted to hold. Box Office Mojo explains it like this. With an estimated $24 million, 20th Century Fox's The Predator took the weekend's number 1 spot, but the film has little to celebrate. Debuting in 4,037 theaters, the film's opening is the worst for a live-action film opening in over 4,000 locations, unseating The Mummy, which previously held the distinction after its $31.6 million opening on 4,035 screens last summer. The opening currently falls short of even 2010's Predators, which opened with $24.76 million in just 2,669 locations. That film went on to gross just over $52 million. So, is Fox happy? Coming in at $24 million? Hell no. Hell no. And it's funny because the previous record holder, horrible record holder, was The Mummy, and it made like $6-7 million more than Predator did on over 4,000 screens. Now, let's forecast this a little bit. According to Box Office Mojo, go down to that last line. Considering 2010's Predators opened bigger by almost $1 million more, and it only went on to gross $52 million, that's domestic. I think it was like 120 something worldwide. The movie went on to make like 120 something million dollars worldwide. That is not good enough. That means this movie's going to lose money. And guess what? Strong word of mouth ain't going to get it, because this movie isn't going to get strong word of mouth. There are some people that like the film, and that's great. But overall, there's not going to be some overwhelming strong word of mouth, because a lot of us, including me, thought it was a pretty disappointing film. So that's not going to rescue it. Quite frankly, I thought 2010's Predators with Adrien Brody was a better film than this one. Even this one had some better action in it, I'll give it that. So are they happy? Can they be satisfied with this? Are they popping bottles? No, not at all. Let's look at the other results of this weekend's box office. So again, Predator comes in at number 1, but only at $24 million. The Nun comes in at number 2 with another $18.2 million. A Simple Favor opens bigger than they initially expected with a very respectable $16 million. White Boy Rick disappointed, coming in with just 8.8. They were hoping for a bit higher with that. And again, Crazy Rich Asians, man, just sticks around and sticks around and sticks around in the top 5, making another $8.7 million at the box office. So, yeah, good for Predator, number 1 at the box office, but there ain't nobody celebrating. I don't think, if there was any plans to get another Predator movie on, like, going and on the conveyor belt, they've probably been halted right now. All right, let's move on to the second email. And the second email today comes to us from Morgan Williams, who writes, with the Henry Cavill departure and there apparently not being any plans for another Superman movie, do you think it's likely that supporting characters like Amy Adams as Lois Lane and Jesse Eisenberg playing Lex Luthor could be recast as well? I mention that because the real Lex Luthor, Michael Rosenbaum, just tweeted that he'd be up for taking over the Lex Luthor role again. Could that happen? All right, thanks a lot for the question, Morgan. And what Morgan is talking about is that, of course, we know with all the drama going on with Henry Cavill in the Superman role, we've talked about that ad nauseum last week, so that's going on. If he goes, could they be looking, and with the fact that they don't have any upcoming Superman movie plans, could that mean that Jesse Eisenberg is out as Lex Luthor? Could that mean Amy Adams is out as Lois Lane? And if Jesse Eisenberg is out as Lex Luthor, should they go back and get Michael Rosenbaum? Now, here's when Morgan says Michael Rosenbaum says he'd be up for coming back. Let's be specific here. Here's where this comes from. Sci-Fi put out a tweet about the news story that Henry Cavill is out as Superman. In response to that tweet, Michael Rosenbaum put out a pretty good tweet of his own, and he responded to Sci-Fi's tweet with the following. He wrote, "I wish Eisenberg was done at Warner Brothers. Give me my job back." And he puts a little winky smiley face. So the headline on the Sci-Fi Wire thing was, Cavill done at Warner Brothers. And now he's saying, I wish Eisenberg was done at Warner Brothers. Give me my job back. So what you then had is a bunch of people running around telling people like Morgan that, did you hear that Michael Rosenbaum wants to come back as Lex Luthor? First of all, it's a joke. He's obviously being facetious and funny. Okay, there's that. You know what? Here's the other thing. What is the name of the guy? Was it Rick Springfield? Rick Springfield, because there's been the whole Eminem and Machine Gun Kelly drama going on. Rick Springfield put out one of the greatest tweets of all time this weekend. He put out a tweet that said, "I'm currently writing a diss song about Kenny Loggins." Greatest tweet of all time. That was great. Anyway, obviously it's just him having some fun and being a bit facetious. I think it's clear that Michael Rosenbaum was just having some fun and being a bit facetious, and just to emphasize the point, he puts the little winky thing at the end. Clearly, he's just joking around. The other thing is this. They would never bring Michael Rosenbaum in to play Lex Luthor. I'm not saying Michael Rosenbaum could never be in the DCEU, or whatever they're calling the DC universe at the time. I'm certainly not saying they could never bring him in to play a role. Absolutely they could. Could they bring him in to play Lex Luthor? No, because this isn't Smallville. This is Superman, not Smallville. And Smallville is not Superman. I love Smallville. But Smallville is an Elseworld version of Superman. They just did too many things in Smallville that are completely contradictory to the Superman lore. It's not really Superman. That's why, as much as I love Tom Welling in Smallville, and by the way, I like Tom Welling a lot in Lucifer. Tom Welling was a regular this season on Lucifer, and he was great. I loved him in it. Anyway, I love Tom Welling in Smallville, but I remember when they were talking about who's going to play the new Superman. This is going back years, obviously, and people would say, they got to get Tom Welling. It's like, no, this is not Smallville the movie. This is Superman. And I feel the same way about Michael Rosenbaum, who played a great Lex Luthor in Smallville, but this isn't Smallville the movie. This is Superman. So the fact that, he wasn't being serious, he was just joking around, on top of the fact that it doesn't look like they're doing a new Superman movie anytime soon anyway, on top of the fact that they're not going to go out and start recasting Smallville characters to reprise their roles in the DCEU. No, maybe we see him play something else. I'm up for that because I think he's really good. But anyway, all those things stacked up, no, I don't think there is any chance. I'll go 0. I'll set the over-under at 0, and I'll even take the under on 0, that we'll actually see Michael Rosenbaum play Lex Luthor in a DCEU or whatever they're calling the universe type of film. That's just my opinion. What do you guys think? Do you think there could be a legitimate chance that happens sometime? Jump down to the comment section. Let me know your thoughts. All right. Let's go on to the third email today. And the third email today comes us from Thomas Sinclair, who writes, "Hey, John. Todd Phillips put out an official picture of Joaquin Phoenix in the Joker movie, and it says his name is Arthur. Yeah, Arthur Fleck is actually the name of the character. So what do you think of the image, and are you okay with the notion that Joker becomes the Joker later in his life at Joaquin's age?" All right, thanks a lot for the question, Thomas. And yes, so the film, they've started filming. The new Joker movie is filming. And we got our first look, of course, at Joaquin Phoenix as Arthur. Arthur Fleck, a comedian that something goes terribly wrong in his life, that eventually a series of tragic events leads him to becoming the most famous DC villain of all time, the Joker. And I'll tell you what, I think he looks awesome. I think he looks so good. I'm just all for it. Now, by the way, a video also got out of them shooting the film, because they did this scene outside, and in the scene we see Joaquin Phoenix having an argument with somebody, and then this guy, I'm assuming it's a homeless guy dressed as a clown, comes into the frame. And in the video you see Joaquin Phoenix arguing with him, and he goes up and he grabs the big red nose and pulls it off the clown's face and throws it away and all this kind of stuff. If you can find it, just look it up online. It's pretty fun to see. There's not really much audio to it, and it's pretty short. It doesn't give you a lot of context. But I think that scene looked fantastic as well. Now, I wanted to highlight this. If you saw the thumbnail of the episode, my graphics guy, Ray, who's also my brother-in-law, he wanted to take a crack at making Joaquin from this picture look a little bit like the Joker. I just wanted to show off what Ray did. It's so subtle and perfect. I just love this image Ray put together. It's not some like weird, like big splash. No, he just did it subtle, and I love it. So not movie news at all. I just wanted to show off a little picture that Ray did, because I think that picture looks phenomenal. So I like that a lot. But anyway, just getting back to the actual picture that we've got here. Again, it just, the way they've described the character so far, this kind of emotion, this sort of freeze frame is exactly what I've had in mind. And I think it looks great. I'm so excited for it. Now, I know there's still a lot of people and a lot of you guys still a little bit apprehensive about the idea of there being two Jokers and doing Elseworld films at all. You guys know my take. I love the idea of doing Elseworld stories. I love it. It frees up storytellers creatively to not have their hands tied to what's going on in the continuity in the cinematic universe, and just tell whatever stories they can imagine. To me, that's awesome. Getting a guy like Joaquin Phoenix in to play the Joker is awesome. I love this. I love the picture. I think it looks fantastic. The question here, though, is what do you guys think about it? Are you liking this picture? Does it jive with what you're thinking? Does it just kind of make you even more unhappy with what they're doing? I don't know. Jump down to the comment section. Let me know what you guys think. All right, let's move on now to the final emailed in question of the day. And the final emailed in question of the day comes to us from Martin Marshall, who writes, I consider myself a big Kevin Hart fan, and his new movie Night School is coming out in just a couple of weeks. I didn't like Girls Trip or Tiffany Haddish, so I'm not sure how to feel about that. On top of that, I'm not hearing any buzz for the movie. How do you think it will do? All right, thanks a lot for the question, Martin. And I'm like you, I'm a Kevin Hart fan. He plays the same guy in every single movie he's in. He plays the exact same character in every single, he acts the exact same way. He just always has a slightly different name. That's it. But you know what? Up till now, the shtick hasn't worn off, and it entertains me. I keep waiting for Kevin Hart's shtick to wear off. Particularly on me. But so far, so good. I'm still enjoying it. I'm still enjoying his performances. I'm still liking his movies. Not that they're all good, but I think he's generally pretty funny on screen. And unlike you, I am a huge Tiffany Haddish fan. I'd never even heard of her prior to Girls Trip. Girls Trip was one of the best pleasant surprise movies I've ever seen. Because it just looked like a simple little throwaway movie. And I laugh my guts out at that movie every time I see it. And one of the big reasons I do laugh my guts out is because of Tiffany Haddish. She is fearless. There's a Robin Williams kind of quality to her. Of a Robin Williams, Jim Carrey kind of quality of being relentlessly, absolutely, and uncompromisingly fearless when it comes to being on screen. She'll do anything. She will lay herself bare. She will totally go for it. Could that wear off? Maybe. But that element to her, that fearlessness in her comedy really appealed to me. And I just adore her. And so hearing that she was going to be leading a film with Kevin Hart, I found kind of appealing. Now, I'm like you. I have not heard a lot of buzz for this movie. I really haven't. When the trailers play in the theaters I'm in, I don't hear a lot of reaction from the audience. And I'll tell you what, I haven't particularly loved the trailers either. Straight up, I haven't loved these trailers. But with the question, is anybody going to see it? Yes. The early tracking numbers actually say it's actually tracking pretty strong. They're saying this film could open anywhere between $25 and $35 million. For a small budget comedy, that's impressive. That's impressive. They're saying this thing's going to make more on less than half the budget of Predator. This thing's going to make more than the Predator did opening weekend. Put that into context. So as much as I agree with you that I'm not hearing the buzz, I'm not particularly loving the trailers, it seems just like the name recognition of Kevin Hart and Tiffany Haddish is going to carry this thing to a pretty strong opening. Now, whether this movie will have any legs will completely depend on the quality of the film. Does it get good word of mouth? All that kind of stuff. And who knows if it's going to do that. But it looks like the opening weekend is going to be pretty strong. So, yeah, it looks like people are going to go check out this film. We'll just have to wait and see how many actually do it. Okay, guys, that will do it for all the emailed in questions today. We're going to save some time, as we do every day now, and go over and check out what you guys are saying in the live chat. And we're going to take some live questions now from you guys. And we're going to start off the live questions with Ben Heyusa, who writes, "Finally saw The Nun last night. I'm honestly one of the few that enjoyed it. There are issues, though. I bet The Nun Creation will be better." I like that because Annabelle was terrible, but Annabelle Creation was good. Yeah, unfortunately, Ben, I am one of those people that I didn't like it. You know, I was excited for it. I liked the trailers a lot. I was a big fan of Annabelle Creation. The Nun just didn't do it for me. It had its moments, but too many of those issues, just too many of the issues that for me outweighed the rest. But for you, clearly, the stuff that I liked and the stuff that you like outweighed the negative stuff, and that's great. And there are certainly people who do like the movie. And so you're not alone in that. I just wish more of us could have. Especially coming off of Annabelle Creation, I just wish they could have put a stronger foot forward with The Nun. So much potential with The Nun. But who knows? Yeah, maybe The Nun Creation will outdo it. All right, Brad Timms writes, "During the Tomb Raider movie, I just felt like playing the game the entire time, so I didn't really enjoy it as much. I just started playing the new game, and it was a much more enjoyable experience." You know, I liked the Tomb Raider movie. It wasn't great. I wasn't jumping up and down about it. But I thought overall it was pretty solid. Alicia Vikander was solid in the lead. It felt enough like the video game, but never losing sight that it's a movie, not a video game. I thought the action was pretty good. The villain was kind of misused when you've got a villain of that caliber, and I thought that was misused when you got Walton Goggins playing the villain. I just felt like he was a little bit underused. But overall, a fairly solid little offering, particularly for a video game movie. And I'll honestly say it might be the best video game movie ever made, because all video game movies have pretty much sucked. Even the ones I love, like Mortal Kombat. That movie sucks, but I love Mortal Kombat. Anyway. So, yeah, I got a kick out of it, but I could totally see where you're coming from. Look, it wasn't a spectacular movie, and I can see where you're coming from. It's definitely a game that was made to be a game. It wasn't made to be a movie. It was made to be a game. And I get that, even though I did get a kick out of the first movie myself. Ben Heyusa writes, "Also hate the fact that I had a fun weekend that went by too quick. And it's Monday again, but your show gets me through the day. As for them Joker picks, I'm in." Yeah, I mean, I love Monday because it means we get to start up the John Campea show again. But it also means it's Monday, and it means we're back to work and back to the grind. So there's all that. And yeah, I'm totally in on the Joker picks. I love that one little behind-the-scene video of him arguing with the clown guy and pulling the nose off him. I think that's great. A little bit of foreshadowing there. But I really do love just the main picture. I think the main picture looks fantastic. And again, it's just a picture. Let's not get too excited, but I'm already excited about the movie, so this just kind of amped it up a little bit. All right, AFC writes, "Not the best incarnation, but The Amazing Spider-Man 2 had the best visual effects." You know what? Give it its due. The visual effects, there were a couple of moments that they were off a bit, but overall, they were pretty aggressive and ambitious visual effects. No doubt there. They were some aggressive and ambitious visual effects. And I think they did a pretty damn good job with the visual effects. Not everything knocked it out of the park. But I'm not going to disagree with you, man. It was, a visual effects-wise, that was one of the stronger suits of the movie. Kick It to the King Productions writes, We have a Dumbo live action movie, Mulan, Lion King, and Aladdin. Where's the Lilo and Stitch live action movie? I can't be the only one here who wants it. Lilo and Stitch is an intriguing property. I've never had the sense, I like Lilo and Stitch, by the way, but I've never had the sense that it had that same place in the heart of our society, the way like a Lion King does, the way that an Aladdin does, the way that Dumbo does, going back generations, you know. I've just never sensed that Lilo and Stitch has that same kind of appeal. On top of that, Lilo and Stitch is a much more technically challenging, I would think, movie to do. And I don't know if it would translate as well. Now, I'm not saying it wouldn't. I'm just saying it makes me wonder. I'm not sure that movie, the way it is, would translate as well as movies like Lion King are probably going to translate. The way that Aladdin will probably translate. Things like that. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not knocking Lilo and Stitch. I like Lilo and Stitch. It's adorable. But does it have that same place in the pop cultural consciousness as those other Disney films? Does it have the same transfer potential from one kind of form to another form that the other ones have? I don't know. I don't know. I'd say this. If they announced tomorrow that they were doing a Lilo and Stitch movie, I would be at the very minimum intrigued. At the very minimum, I'd be intrigued. James Welsh writes, will Matt Reeves just recast Affleck, or will he recast Jeremy Irons and J.K. Simmons as well? Well, look, if what we're suspecting, and we don't know this, that Matt Reeves' Batman actually happens 15, 20 years in the past, and they're kind of changing it up, I would assume they would also recast the Jeremy Irons part, and that they would recast the J.K. Simmons part. But that's a big if, right? Like, we simply don't know. If this movie does take place in a slightly older time period, and if this, and if that, well, if all those if lines up, then yeah, I would think that he would recast Irons and Simmons. And that would probably be the right thing to do. Otherwise, we're just going to have to wait and see. What we do know is that this isn't just going to be a Batman movie that picks right up where we are today and moving forward with all connected to the DCU and all that kind of stuff. It's not going to be that. How much of a time difference is there going to be? Who knows? We're just going to have to wait and see. I have a feeling it's probably going to be in like, I don't know, like the late 90s or something like that. I'm just guessing, though. We'll have to kind of wait and see. KW Garrett writes, my September 3rd super chat either got deleted or missed. Anyway, all I said was searching movie was good, but the ending isn't believable. Worth seeing, though. I can almost guarantee you that question did not get deleted or missed, because I know I've answered that question. I know I've answered that question. Because I believe you're the only one because I remember you saying that the ending wasn't all that believable. So that did get addressed. I remember that. I couldn't tell you when it got addressed, but I do remember it. Again, I still haven't had a chance to go see it. You know, Ann and I are probably going to slip out to go see A Simple Favor, or A Simple, whatever the movie's called. We're going to probably run out the new Anna Kendrick, Blake Lively one. We're going to probably run out and see that tonight. And we might double feature it up and finally see Searching, because everybody's telling me how much they like it. But I remember you mentioning that the ending just didn't land for you. That the ending wasn't all that believable. Now, I haven't heard from anybody else that the ending was amazing. I've just heard that the movie is amazing. So maybe there's some other people out there as well that kind of found, yeah, we love the movie, but it didn't quite stick the ending. Maybe more of you guys feel that way. Write in, send in, leave a comment down below and let me know what you guys think about that. Vrinder Singh, who, if I'm reading that right, has just contributed $500 to the show. Wow. Thank you, Vrinder. Thank you for supporting the show on that. I know you are a regular viewer, and you are constantly supporting the show, but I mean, oh my God, thank you for that, man. Thank you so much. And Ray and Jonathan, who get their paychecks from this, thank you for that as well. So thank you so much, dude. That's awesome. Let's get to your question now instead of me blabbering on. If or when DC reboots, I don't think they should do a Superman origin story. Just start the movie with him already established on Earth. That way we can get straight into the action. I could not agree with you more. And, you know, that is one of the things, you know, we often talk about the movie Superman Returns. And on last week's episode of The Weekly Hero, me and Robert talked about this. We talked a little bit about Superman Returns. And the way I always describe Superman Returns is it's a good movie that just so happens to not be a very good comic book movie. Do you see what I'm saying? Superman Returns is a good movie. From a character study point of view, this man who's struggling with what it means to be a god, but so desperately wanting to just be a human at the same, it's a beautiful kind of character study on that level. It really is. It's a good movie, but it's not a very good comic book movie. And you could have made it both. It could have been both. But one of the things that I think Superman Returns did great was they understood we don't have to cover an origin story yet again. We don't have to cover yet another origin story. We don't have to go back to the well on that again. One of the great things about the Incredible Hulk with Ed Norton was the fact that they didn't feel, even though it was rebooting it, they didn't feel the need to go back and recover all the origin story again. What they did in The Incredible Hulk was actually great. They just had, like, in 2 minutes of the opening sequence, just newspaper clippings and headlines that just, hey, this Bruce Banner did some experiments, turned the Incredible Hulk, now the military wants him, and he got away, and that's all covered in the first 2 minutes, and then it just jumps into the movie. I love that. Superman is one of those characters we do not need to cover the origin story yet again. We got it. We got it in, we had it summed up for us in Superman Returns, but we got it in the Christopher Reeve movies. We got it in Man of Steel. It's one of the most well-known and recognized, pretty much as well-known and recognized as the Batman origin with his parents being shot in the thing. His planet Krypton being destroyed and he was shot off on the space to be saved. We all know it. We don't need to cover it yet again. We don't need to recreate the wheel, as it were. So I'm hoping that they listen to people like you and me and others, Rinder, that if and when they ever do restart Superman, you don't have to start on Krypton. We know who Superman is. We get it. Now, you don't have to just jump right into the action, but at least just jump right into the narrative. At least just jump right into the story without having to spend 15 or 20 minutes recounting again. By the way, in case you didn't know, this was a little alien baby on another planet. His planet was blowing up and they shot him off into space. Yeah, we know. So I hope you're right. And I agree with you. Just there's no need to restart with an origin story with Superman again. Kick It to the King Productions writes, Last Airbender came out in 2010. How much longer till we get a reboot? Oh, a long time. The show still holds up today. You split the 3 books into 2 parts and have 6 movies. Nope. They're not going to do it. Nope. They're not going to do it. They're simply not going to do it. There is too much of a stench on The Last Airbender. It is seen as such a failure and such a radical mess. And by the way, not all that many people were interested in seeing the live action version. Before everybody knew how bad it was, it had its opening weekend, $40 million opening weekend, on a $150 million budget. A $40 million opening weekend on a $150 million budget. So it's not like people were clamoring to run out and see it. Well, that's because it sucked. Well, people didn't say it sucked till they saw it. And they couldn't see it till opening weekend. And I'll tell you what, I thought the trailers looked pretty good. In hindsight, we may look at the trailers now and go, oh, you could see how bad it was. But at the time, before we saw the movie, those trailers looked pretty good. And I remember being, oh my gosh, the Shamhammer might be redeeming himself now with this Last Airbender. This looks pretty good. The trailers looked pretty good. It turned out to be an awful mess of a movie. It was really bad. There were some interesting things in it, and some of the visual stuff that they did was also pretty intriguing, but overall, just a horrible, horrible, horrible movie. But the fact of the matter is, there wasn't a lot of people. Like, everybody thinks, you do a Last Airbender movie, everybody's going to go see it. No, they're not. No, they're not. Numbers prove it. Now, you do a Last Airbender movie, and then long before the movie comes out, the critics start coming out and saying, it's awesome. This movie's incredible. You got to check this out. And you start to snowball that with the fandom of the original show and all that kind of, yeah, maybe you could come up with something. But if you're a studio executive, here's what you're looking at. You're looking at, okay, everybody hears the name The Last Airbender when it comes to the movies and has just an instant revulsion. There's that. On top of that, its opening weekend, before everybody realized how bad it was terrible. For a $150 million movie, a $40 million opening is terrible. Do we really want to invest another $150 million? Or at this point, even more into doing it again? Nah. I can't see them doing it. At least not now. Like, take everything else out of it. With one film coming out in 2010, could you reboot one next year? Yes, you could. All other things being equal. But not all things are equal. You're talking about one of the most reviled films of the past 10 years. It's just not that easy to jump up and do that again. Not this soon, not this quick. Could happen at some point in the future, but I can't see it happening anytime soon. There's just too much going against it. Now, you can argue with me about the should-haves and the could-haves and the would-haves, sure, but behind all the could-haves and should-haves and would-haves, you're ending with, it is a reviled title right now with the average movie-going audience, and it did not perform well when it was out, even on its opening weekend. You can't get around, and these are the only two cold stone facts that the studio executives are going to look at. Now, I'm not arguing that one couldn't be great. I'm not saying that they should never do it. I'm not saying any of that. I'm with you. But you got to be able to step out of those shoes for a second and step into the shoes of a studio executive, and those are the two facts they're looking at. And do they want to put their jobs on the line, putting up $150 million on a movie that they do not believe can succeed? Not now. Not right now. Maybe in another 5, 10, 15 years, but I just don't see any studio taking a big risk like that on a movie that performed so utterly badly. History Soup writes, could other films move off December 21st helping Aquaman? It's getting too late. I mean, that was always an option. You know, we talk about this black hole that is coming up in the movie release schedule, where you've got Marry Poppins. Like, within a 1-week window, we've got Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, Mortal Engines, Marry Poppins, Holmes and Watson, Welcome to Marwen, Aquaman, Bumblebee, and Alita Battle Angel. Now, we have mostly focused our attention, because it's the movie I care most about, on Aquaman, and that how Aquaman really should have moved release dates to a place where they can have a better chance for success. Because I'm thinking the movie's going to be good, but I think it's going to get... Look, it's no matter how much money it makes on its opening weekend, it could have made a hell of a lot more on another weekend. Especially now with that Marry Poppins trailer coming out, forget it. Good luck, everybody else. Good luck. Anyway, so we've mostly focused on, when talking about potentially moving release dates, we've mostly focused on Aquaman. I believe it's the movie that could have benefited the most from a move. But that doesn't mean it's the only film that could move. Mortal Engines could move. Bumblebee could... Nothing stopping Bumblebee from moving. Nothing stopping Alita Battle Angel, who's, by the way, its last trailer was really good too. Alita Battle Angel. But, like Aquaman, I now believe it's probably too late. It's now probably too late to move. Like, I've been saying for a long time, I think Aquaman could move. I think Warner Brothers could feel inspired and realizing, let's move Aquaman and it'll be for the best. And I've always thought they could do it. But even I got to say, at this point, I think it's too late. I do not think you're going to see Aquaman move. It's just too late in the game. And for the same reason, I don't think we're going to see any of the other films move either. I think it's pretty much set at this point. James Bonner writes, watch the trailer for Marry Poppins Returns, and oh my God, I went from moderately enthusiastic to up in the stratosphere. Up in the atmosphere. Excited for this film. I cannot wait. Dude, I just... Again, let me pull this picture up, guys. This is the type of stuff that just... I was already happy with what I was seeing. This made me frickin' ecstatic. Just going bonkers seeing them use the old style traditional 2D animation for their hybrid material in the movie. I just loved what I was seeing. just loved what I was seeing. So you and me both, James. This has taken. Look, we always say the job of a trailer is to take your excitement level needle and move it up, regardless of how excited or lack of excitement you have. Just move it up. This moved it up, and moved it up a lot for me. Marvin777 writes, has any comic book movie deaths hit you hard? Gwen's death in The Amazing Spider-Man 2 gets me every time. Okay, as much as we all disparage on The Amazing Spider-Man 2, that scene was awesome. I'll debate anybody on that. That scene was awesome. Because even me, I remember the first time watching the movie. I'm in a press screening. And even I'm expecting them to kill off Gwen Stacy. We know that she dies. We know at some point they got to make way for Mary Jane. We know all this kind of stuff. So yeah, she's probably going to die. Even then, I did not see it coming. Man, as they're falling, descending, and Spider-Man's trying to reach her, and he's shooting the web out, I thought, it's going to catch her just at the last minute and save her. That, oh my God, it was probably the best direction in the entire movie, because when he gets her with the web and that smack, I feel like everybody in the theater felt that go right through their heart. It was an amazing, amazing moment in an otherwise mediocre to disappointing film. But don't let the mediocrity of that film fool you into thinking there weren't a couple of exceptional elements, maybe the most of which was that Gwen's death. And that. But other than that, to be honest with you, no. I've never had a death in any movie hit me that hard. The death of Killmonger in Black Panther was very well done. And it had some heart to it. I liked it. There have been other deaths that have done it very well. But I got to tell you that the death of Gwen Stacy in that movie was extremely well done. Let's see. Mike Zambrano writes, the Predator is so bad it makes Justice League look like a masterpiece. I'm done with the Predator movies. Sad day when the Meg is a better movie. Yeah, you know what? I'll join you on that, Meg. I also didn't love the Meg, but I was pretty close to liking the Meg. There were definitely good things about the Meg, and I came close. I was hard time deciding between, do I just slightly say I'm disappointed or slightly say, yeah, I had a good enough time. I just ever so slightly said, Meg doesn't quite do it for me, but it certainly had its good elements. But yeah, I'll agree with you. Meg was better than Predator, and that's unfortunate. That's unfortunate. Mike follows it up with, new Halloween reminds me of Halloween H2O, or no. Well, I don't know. Like, other than the fact that Jamie Lee Curtis is back, I gotta say, as a guy who has never liked any Halloween films, this one looks special to me. Whether or not it'll turn out the way, I don't know. But to me, H2O always looked horrible. This one looks like it could be special, so we're going to have to wait and see. Let's see here. Sorry, had the big jump. Tacky75 writes, take my hand, Peter. Mom, what a great scene. That was a good scene. That was a good scene from Guardians of the Galaxy. I like that one a lot. Tom Growcut writes, special thanks to Caleb who resent my question. I think you're talking about something that happened on the companion videos this weekend. I think that's what you're talking about, Tom. Thanks for giving him the shout out, though. Michael Jones writes, Hurricane Florence didn't reach us till Saturday. My theater was open on Friday, so saw a triple feature of Predator, not so good, A Simple Favor, pretty good, and Searching, very good. Yeah, that sounds like a good... That's the kind of weekend I probably should. And maybe I'm hoping I get to do that double feature tonight. Not the Predator, but the double feature of A Simple Favor and Searching. I'm really looking forward to seeing both of those. All right. Austin Hernandez. And by the way, take care of yourself, Michael, in the midst of all. I'm just seeing some of these horrific images of flooding and all that kind of stuff. Hopefully it didn't hit your area all that bad, but to everybody who's even close to those areas, you're in our thoughts. Please take care of yourself. And here's hoping we see you on the other side of all this, guys. Hang in there. Austin Hernandez writes, due to the unfreezing process, I have no inner monologue. Austin Powers. My God, she looks amazing. I bet she shags like a minx. Due to the unfreezing process, I have no inner monologue. I hope I didn't just say that out loud. Great Austin Powers moment. I love that line. I love so much about Austin Powers. I miss Austin Powers. You know, a lot of times I talk about it's too little too late to bring back an old franchise. I still to this day want another Austin Powers movie. I still to this day want another Austin Powers movie. Badly. Badly. Let's see. LeBurn007 writes, just want to thank you and this community we have here. It's really amazing. I had zero interest in the Upgrade movie, but hearing you and everyone here rave about it, I checked it out and loved it, hoping for a sequel. That is one of the greatest things, honestly, about the film fan community. Besides that, we're there, we get to share our laughs and share our insight and have fun and debate and discuss and all that kind of stuff. One of the really cool things is when you're in these communities, you know, like a movie like me, I had no interest in seeing Searching. None. Trailers look stupid, no interest at all. But because of this community, I'm now chomping at the bit to get out and see it. And hopefully Ann and I can do a double feature tonight. And for guys like you get a movie like Upgrade. And I'm sure a lot of people had no initial interest in seeing or thought about seeing or anything like that. But now you're like, oh yeah, I want to see it. And then you went to go see it and you enjoyed it. Love that about the film fan community. So I'm glad you took a moment to share your thoughts. And I'm glad you had a good time with the movie, LeBurn. All right. Rob D writes, did you notice that the time stone was the only one he couldn't physically touch when holding it? I'm sure there's a spell on it. I'm not. I'm really not. I'm not sure that that's true. That's the only one he didn't touch. But even if that's the case, I'm not. Now, there are a couple of theory videos going around that like Doctor Strange put a curse on the time stone or something. I don't believe it. I don't believe that. I mean, I certainly don't think it's impossible. Not at all. I don't think it's impossible. And it's an interesting theory. I, however, just lean towards the theory or the notion that, look, Doctor Strange saw 14 million outcomes, only one of which he won, but whichever one that they win included Thanos getting his hands on the final stone. That had to be a part of the process that led to their victory. I don't think there was putting a curse on it. I don't think there's anything like that. So I don't buy into that theory myself, but hey, I'm not going to fall out of my chair in shock if it is that way. I just wouldn't put any money on it myself personally. Cody Carroll writes, a simple favor seemed like a lighter Gone Girl. I haven't seen it myself, but you know what? I've never thought of it in that term, Cody, but you're right. The trailers feel like a slightly lighter toned Gone Girl. I'm looking forward to seeing it tonight. All right. Gabe Schembarger writes, I like Spider-Man PS4, but Arkham games are better. I haven't seen it yet. I know my buddy Ryan, who's in our Dungeons and Dragons group, when we played D&D last night, and he's been playing the Spider-Man 4 game a lot, and he's played all the Arkham games. But he was saying to me, like, flat out, no discussion, this is my favorite video game of all time. That's high praise. Now, usually my buddy Ryan is really more of a first-person shooter kind of guy. Like, he likes to play Battlefield and all those games like that. That's usually his main forte. But he's been playing this Spider-Man game nonstop. And to him, he's now telling me it's his favorite game of all time. So, high praise. Joe D'Amato writes, saw A Simple Favor over the weekend. A wonderful film. Had me guessing till the very end. And by the way, John, thank you so much for not spoiling what the end is, because I was afraid that's where you were going. I'm hearing that from a lot of people. And I'm thrilled because Blake Lively needs a good hit. Because she's great. I love her. I've always enjoyed her a lot. Let's see. Curtis Lopez writes, the Marry Poppins trailer made me feel like a kid again. No kidding, right? It had, no pun intended, the trailer had that magic. There's magic in that trailer. It made my heart smile. It's a damn good trailer. So, good luck, Bumblebee. Good luck, Alita Battle Angel. Good luck, Aquaman and Holmes and Watson. And welcome to Morrowind. Good luck to y'all. There's a little lady coming to town named Marry Poppins who looks like she's going to kick your candy asses. It's going to be an interesting thing to see. All right. Curtis follows up with, I'm anticipating a picture of Phoenix in full Joker makeup soon. Well, you know what? Here's something that nobody wants to hear. Who says there's a rule anywhere that you have to see him, that they're going to go the traditional route and show him in Joker outfit? What if he just is the Joker the way he looks? Now, I just made a lot of you mad, but think about it. They have total creative freedom. Do whatever you want to do. We're not tied to the other cinematic universe. They don't have to go that way. I think they will. Don't get me wrong. I think they will. But let's keep in mind, there's no rule anywhere that says they have to have Joaquin Phoenix in the Joker outfit. He can be dressed however, they can just look normal. He doesn't have to have white skin or red lips or green hair. I believe there is a 5% chance there's no Joker makeup in this movie. 5%. Now, I'm not saying that's either a good or a bad thing. That could be the greatest thing in the world depending how they handle it. Could be the worst thing in the world depending on how they handle it. But so bottom line, I do think they will get Joker makeup, but I'm just telling people, don't be completely shocked if we go through that whole movie without Joker costuming. That could be an intriguing different take. Stubble McShave writes, did Burt do his own car stunts in Smokey? Ooh, that's a good question. I don't know. I'm going to guess not. I'm going to guess no, but I actually don't know. That's something interesting to look up. Chris Warden writes, John, I just started watching Richard Madden's from Game of Thrones' new BBC show Bodyguard, and it's really good. Check it out when you have a chance. I don't really have an opportunity to watch hardly any BBC. The only BBC show I've ever really watched in the last couple of years is Killing Eve, which is damn good. I've never heard of this show. What's it called? Bodyguard. I've never heard of the show, and I've already got a bunch of shows I got to catch up on. So I'm not going to lie to you, Chris. I probably don't have time to watch it. But who knows? I'll file it away. Stubble McShave writes, over under 1%. Anakin has an unknown older half-sibling who was sold as a slave before he was born. Not the craziest narrative twist I've heard, but I will still take even under 1%. I'll take I don't think they've ever made any sort of suggestion that that's a possibility. And to introduce a concept like that at this point is kind of to rewrite history. I don't think they're looking to do that. So not the nuttiest narrative idea I've heard, but I don't think that's the way they're going to go. So I'll take the under even on 1% on that. Interesting notion, though. Dylan Flickinger writes, who should play Catwoman in the DCEU? Carla, don't care. You guys know me. I don't care. Which actor, actress should play X role? I don't care. As long as it's a good actor or actress, I'm totally fine. I'm totally good. There's 50 actresses out there that would make a great Catwoman. So that's always my opinion whenever you guys ask, which actor should play X role? I don't care. As long as it's a good, talented actor or actress, then I'm good. Andrew Pena Carranza writes, Arthur Fleck equals A Fleck or A Fleck. Yeah, I've seen some people trying to make that connection. I do not think there's any connection there whatsoever. There are people running around, even some websites running stories. The name of Joker in this new Joaquin Phoenix movie is a tribute to Ben Affleck. No, it's not. I mean, look, I shouldn't say that definitively. Maybe someday we hear from the screenwriter and he says, yeah, that's why he made the name that. I don't know, but I really highly doubt it. I really, really highly doubt it. But, hey, we've seen stranger things happen, haven't we? KW writes, have you watched the show Barry starring Bill Hader on HBO? It's funny, endearing, dramatic, and very unique. Most definitely recommended. Yeah, I have. I saw the whole first season. I enjoyed it quite a bit. I often wonder I've wondered this out loud before, though, how many people who live outside of LA or New York would find it as entertaining, because part of the reason I was so enamored with it was because I know a version of every character in that, other than the crazy ones like the criminals and the hitmen and stuff. But all the actor characters, I know all those people. I have tons of friends who are actors in this town, struggling to make a living and all that kind of stuff. So it just struck me as very true. I just wonder how much people would like it outside of LA or New York. But yeah, I got a big kick out of it. I'm looking forward to season 2 quite a bit. All right, Cobra writes, if Marvel want to do more female lead movies and Sony still wants to do Silver and Black, why not see if they can be done in the MCU? That's not what they're looking for. The Marvel and the MCU are not looking to expand the overlapping of the two things. They're not looking to do all that kind of stuff. Sony is looking to develop things for their own cinematic universe. Make no mistake, Sony wants their own cinematic universe with superhero films. They're not looking to send more over to the MCU. They're looking to have Spider-Man over there and then have their own cinematic universe. The MCU has plenty of female characters. It's not like the MCU is struggling. Oh gosh, if only we can find some female characters. They have tons of female characters at their disposal. They don't need to go into the Sony part of it and start picking out things from there. And Sony's not interested in sending more characters over. They want to create their own cinematic universe. So it just doesn't make sense. It doesn't meet Marvel's goals and it doesn't meet Sony's goals. It's just a lose-lose for both of them. So I don't think either of them would want to do something like that. Sagar Duwingen writes, Phoenix looks like Anton Chigurh. I got a little bit of that. I did get a little bit of that from the character from No Country for Old Men, by the way, for those of you who don't know what he's talking about. There is a little bit of that in there. There's no doubt. And I don't think that's by accident. Stubble McShave writes, how many movies and video games would exist today if the Indiana Jones movies had never been made? How many movies and video games would exist today? Just as many. Maybe they would look a little bit different, but the movie industry was a huge, thriving, growing thing before Indiana Jones came around. It would still be the same way today if it hadn't. So just as many. But there's no denying the influence of the Indiana Jones movies. So probably a lot of them, or a number of them, would probably look a little bit different than they do today. But yeah, just as many would be around. Hardy Buck 4 writes, Christian Harloff said Die Hard 2 is better than 3 because 3 had a bad ending. What are your thoughts? Completely disagree. Die Hard 3 is probably my favorite of the Die Hard movies. I'm No Chuck Norris writes, with the success of Jack Ryan, will Amazon increase the episodes from 8 to 13? No idea. Well, really, we don't know what kind of success it's having, other than the fact that the people who are watching it seem to be enjoying it. But we don't know what kind of numbers they're getting. We don't even know really what kind of numbers they were hoping to get. So it's hard to say. You could make an argument that if it had great success at 8, then they may just want to keep it at 8. Personally, I like 22 episode seasons. If I like a show, I like 22 episode seasons. But whatever. If Amazon put out 8 and it works at 8, that may just kind of embolden them to keep it at 8. But really, it all depends. There's so much there we don't know about. But I still haven't started watching Jack Ryan, but I'm very excited about it. Matt Ford 53 writes, New Titans trailer shows Jason Todd has a much different and lighter tone. Wish they would have led off with that one. I'd be much more excited. You know, you never get a second chance to make a first impression, and they shit the bed with their first trailer. They totally crap the bed with their first trailer. I know there's a new footage. I'm not even interested in watching the new footage. That's how much that first trailer turned me off. And you guys remember, I was actually getting some enthusiasm. I was actually getting enthusiastic about this Titans show. And then they dropped that first trailer and completely crapped the bed. And turned me off completely. They're going to have to put this show out, and I'm going to have to hear from a lot of people that it's great to get me to check it out, because they just completely lost me. Again, no second chance to make a first impression. Okay, just going to fly through these last ones now, guys, because we're just about out of time. Megapodtastic writes, why does everyone assume that the Hollywood Reporter story means that Cavill is out? Because the Hollywood Reporter story says Cavill is out. And the Hollywood Reporter is not some Reddit thread. The Hollywood Reporter is not some blog. And I ran a blog for a long time. No dissing blogs. I'm just saying, we don't have the connections that the Hollywood Reporter does. Because the Hollywood Reporter quoted no less than 3 Warner Brothers insiders, people who actually work in Warner Brothers and executives at Warner Brothers, not giving their names, obviously, because that's not what a real publication should do. But people assume that it means Cavill is out because the headline of the story is Henry Cavill no longer Superman. You know what? Hold on a second. Let me actually look up the thing here. Henry Cavill, Superman, Hollywood Reporter. Let me just make sure I got the actual right one here. Yeah, here it is. I'm looking at the Hollywood Reporter story right now. The headline reads, Henry Cavill out as Superman. That's the headline. If the Hollywood Reporter says it, and then Warner Brothers puts out some BS wish-washy non-response, you can pretty much take it that means he's out. Would I put $1 million on that? No. But again, this isn't some random anonymous person on a Reddit thread said something. This is the Hollywood Reporter, who does not never make mistakes. No, but it's a very small amount. And they seem to have really done a lot of research. When you read through the article, it's very clear they did a lot of research on it. So, look, there's never been a story I've hoped was wrong more than this one. You guys know how I feel about Henry Cavill. You guys know how I feel about Henry Cavill as Superman. I've never wanted more for a story to be incorrect than this one. But yeah, until I see something more compelling, to me, it just makes sense. I think any rational person would look at that and believe the Hollywood Reporter story. But I mean, it's all subjective. It's up to you. But why do people believe it? Because it's the Hollywood Reporter. That's why people believe it. And the headline is Henry Cavill out as Superman. That's the headline. Let's see. Stubble McShave writes, fun trivia. Indy 3 scene with Dr. Jones and Junior in the airship was filmed with no pants on, winter clothes, and a hot studio. Did not know that. That's pretty interesting. And you know, that's a good way. That is an old trick. That's why I wear shorts. I'm telling you right now, I'm a little behind the scenes. I'm wearing my gym shorts right now. I'm wearing my gym shorts right now because it gets warm in the studio and I try to stay cool as much as I can. And wearing shorts is a good way around it. It's a nice piece of trivia, Stubble. Megapodtastic follows up. The story and the later WB statement seem to say that negotiations for the Shazam cameo did not pan out. It seems that there is no Superman project right now. No, it's more than that, Megapodtastic. That's only part of the story. You're only quoting part of the story. There was more and more that added up to Super Cavill is out. Now, again, there's a possibility here that this is incorrect. Let's not shut the door on that completely. But if I had to put $10 on it, I wouldn't put $1,000 on it. But if I had to put $10 on it, yeah, I mean, the Hollywood Reporter story is pretty direct. When the headline reads Henry Cavill out as Superman, then you need to interpret all the things in the story in the light of what the headline is. So anyway, there's that. Megapodtastic writes, it seems to me that if Aquaman and Shazam are both hits, that at that time, Warner Brothers may be ready for Superman again and may want to bring Cavill back. Warner Brothers already has their plan. I'm going to tell you that right now. I have no idea what their plan is. But I think one of the things that Warner Brothers has had to change about their film company culture as far as DC goes is their hyper-reactiveness. They cannot fall back into old bad patterns of just being hyperreactive. Oh, okay, we got to change things up. But wait, Aquaman was received. Okay, now let's change our plans again. That is what's led to Warner Brothers' downfall, is being hyper-reactionary. Instead of making a plan and sticking through that plan and blah, 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 they just have this hair trigger reaction. They react. Oh, this didn't do it. Change all our plans. Now let's have a new plan. Now this didn't work. Now change all of our plans. Okay, now let's make a new plan. Oh, but this thing unexpectedly worked. Let's change all our plans. Like, I think one of the things that Walter Hamada is bringing to the table here is to get rid of that destructive, hair trigger reactionary stuff that DC has been known for with their movies up till now. That even the most hardcore of DC fans have been frustrated over. Is this hyper reactionary mode that they've always seemed to be in. I'm going to tell you right now, I think Warner Brothers is expecting Aquaman to do pretty good. It ain't going to make $600 million, I don't think, but it's going to do pretty good, I believe. I think Warner Brothers is expecting Shazam to do pretty good. But I also think they have their long-term plan. And maybe their long-term plan means doing more Shazam, more Aquaman, more Superman, all that kind of stuff. All I'm saying is they've got their plan, and regardless of the success or failure of Shazam or Aquaman, is not going to change their plan at that point. Because I believe they're trying to be a little bit more like Marvel in this point, that stop being so frickin' reactionary. Lay out your plan, understand we may hit a bump, understand we may do better than expected, but keep your plan. And in that regard, I think they're going to try to be a little bit more like Marvel, which is a good thing in this regard. So no, I don't think the success or failure. I'm going to tell you right now, let's say they are planning to do another Superman in 4 years. And then let's say Aquaman bombs. I don't think Aquaman failing would change their plan. Let's say Aquaman comes out and makes $800 million. It's not going to, but let's say it did. I don't think that's going to change their plan either. I think they're trying to be a less hyper trigger reactionary company that they have been in the past, which I believe has led to a number of their problems. Let's see. Where do we go here? Lincoln Robinson writes, would Solo have done better if they released in December away from the negative backlash of episode 8? Nah. Look, I said from the beginning, I said a year ago, more than a year ago, long before The Last Jedi came out, when the moment they announced, I'm telling you right now, the biggest reason, and I said it from day one, nobody asked for a Han Solo movie without Harrison Ford. Especially when we just had Harrison Ford on the big screen in the role of Han Solo. Nobody was interested in a Harrison Ford-less Han Solo movie. Nobody was interested. I've been saying it ever since they announced this damn thing. Compound that with, now you're just getting a whole new set of problems. You're going to, dropping the Solo movie in that hornet's nest that is Bumblebee, Alita Battle Angel, Aquaman, Marry Poppins, Mortal Engines, Spider-Man and the Spider-Verse, on and on and on and on. No, I think it would have done even worse. I'll be honest with you, Lincoln. I really do think it would have done even worse. At the end of the day, people were just not wanting to rush out and see somebody else play Han Solo. It might have been different if Harrison Ford had passed away 5 years ago. It might have been different and all that kind of stuff. But when we just had Harrison Ford on the screen as Han Solo, and then to come out with a new Han Solo movie that ain't Harrison Ford, people just weren't interested in that. And I said that from day one. So I believe you drop that in December now, you're introducing a whole new set of problems with now you're having to go up against all these other huge major films, all like really, really close. So I actually kind of think it might have even done worse, unfortunately. But hey, at least we would have had a Star Wars movie at Christmas time, which I'm not going to have this year, unfortunately. Let's see. Grandmaster writes, it is indeed the real Dick Van Dyke dancing in the Marry Poppins trailer. I don't know. Watch his recent stuff. He's still dancing and jumping at the age of 93. The director even confirmed they didn't use a double. Okay, I don't believe that. But dude, I believe you heard that. But dude, if you've got a link to that, please email it to me. Because I would love to see that. I would love to think that's actually Dick Van Dyke doing that. That was the dancing of a pretty spry man. I don't know that I believe that that's him, though. But if you've got a link to the director actually confirming that, I would love to read it because that would be awesome. That would be so awesome. So please, Grandmaster, please email that to me because I would love to see that. Act Naturally Productions writes, will Julie Andrews make a cameo in Marry Poppins? That's all I thought about, man. Tell you what, Julie Andrews, this year at the John Williams concert at the Hollywood Bowl, Steven Spielberg was a special guest coming out, telling stories, doing all that kind of stuff. It was great. A couple of years ago, Julie Andrews was a special guest, and she was magic. She was great. And all I could think about watching this was, I wonder if Julie... But here's the thing. If Julie Andrews does cameo, you know they're not going to put that in the trailer. You know they're going to want to save that one for a surprise. I'd say it's 50-50. I'm going to guess it's a 50-50 chance that Julie Andrews pops up in a cameo. Fingers crossed, man. Fingers crossed. It would be so great. Alex Bose writes, your best Canadian movie, also Canadian Quebec director, seems to be really appreciated in Hollywood. What makes us Canadians so great? Well, I don't have a best Canadian movie off the top of my head. I can't do that. No, I don't think Canadians are any better than anybody else. I mean, look, if it's not like we're dominating the film industry right now. I mean, especially in terms of actors, we got a lot of actors and actresses who are good Canadian kids that kind of do dominate the landscape a lot. But, right now, Denis Villeneuve, definitely kind of trumping everything right now. He's doing great. But I wouldn't say that there's an over-representation of Canadian talent in Hollywood right now. But it's just, we share so much. Canada and the U.S. share so much pop culture that it just makes sense that, a lot of Canadians are going to be some of our great actors and some of our great directors. But I don't think it's any more to a place that to go, what is it that makes Canada stand out more than anybody else in the United States? Well, it doesn't really. We just have our place. We have our place. We're storytellers, man. We're storytellers. Stubble McShave, last two questions. Shogun's best example of arriving in different culture, seen as barbaric, slowly learning and finally accepting to fully understand it. I talk about this all the time. There is a great James Clavell novel called Shogun that was turned in the 80s into a miniseries. That is it is my all-time favorite miniseries. And I believe they've talked for some time about doing another recreation of it, and they really do need to. Where, the Caucasian dude shows up in a different culture, and we're the barbarian. And it's just so brilliant on so many different levels. If you haven't read it or seen the old miniseries, you should check it out. All right, final question of the day comes to us from Taki75, who writes, it seems it's Captain Marvel trailer day tomorrow. So, Allison, why am I drawing a blank on Bree's name? It's Allison Brie, right? I just drew a momentary brain fart. Brie Larson. Why was I saying Allison Brie? Brie Larson is on, I believe, Good Morning America tomorrow. I believe that's what I heard. That would suggest, because remember, the first pictures came out, and I said, guys, this is Marvel's pattern. Within 2 weeks, I believe we're going to get a Captain Marvel trailer. So, Brie Larson, Academy Award-winning actress Brie Larson, popping up on Good Morning America. The implication there is that we're going to get a trailer. It's not a guarantee, but that is the implication, is that we're going to get our first trailer of Captain Marvel tomorrow. It would fit the modus operandi of Disney putting out a picture, then within 2 weeks, getting our first official trailer. Fingers crossed, I'm hoping it's tomorrow. So I wouldn't say it's official, but it's feeling like it's going to happen. So hopefully that's going to be our lead story tomorrow. All right, guys, that will do it for today's installment of the John Campea Show. Thank you so much for being here. Don't forget, we'll be back again later this afternoon at 3 o'clock for Open Mic. Just a whole hour of just taking open questions, talking about all the stuff we want to talk about. Make sure you guys join me then. Listen, guys, special thank you to all you guys who are Patreon supporters. You make this channel happen. Listen, for those of you who have never even heard of it, do me a favor. Go check out our Patreon page at www.patreon.com/JohnCampea. Get all the information about what it means to be a Patreon supporter and some of the perks of being a Patreon supporter too, like access to our Facebook group, audio-only versions of the podcast of the shows, stuff like that, and maybe you'll become a Patreon supporter too. Special thank you to all of you guys who sent in Super Chat questions. You give us great topics to talk about, and you support this channel financially. Thank you so much for keeping this channel going that way. That'll do it for me for now, guys. Thanks a lot for joining me. My name's John Campea, and until the next video, bye-bye.